All right, on to some money stuff, collectives. I saw a report, actually, yeah, this is pretty public knowledge now, but Georgia kind of unceremoniously just like announced that they were getting rid of their collective. I got a reply on Twitter that UCF had done the same thing. Other programs kind of doing the same thing with this House settlement now in effect, because we are on July 2nd. We're 2 days into this new-ish era of schools being able to pay players. Collectives in some places going away, in other places completely trudging on. I had a conversation with somebody this morning, and it seems like some collectives that I'm pretty familiar with are going to continue to drudge on and continue to basically not change a thing. I think the approach here is interesting, where you've got a national power, maybe the face of the sport in the last 5 years, in Georgia, 86ing their collective and legitimately getting rid of it. Obviously, they'll pay through the school, but let's not kid ourselves. I don't see Georgia stopping at the $18 to $20 million that they can pay. I'm interested to see what changes are made, how programs do this, what programs will get rid of their collectives, what won't. I don't know how much time we'll spend on this, but I don't know if either of you two have any thoughts here.
For me, I've heard a lot of different things about collectives because it's all been different. Everybody's tried to do it differently based on their culture and their people, their donors, that sort of thing. I've heard certain collectives and people within them that think they, quote, saved their school and saved their team. So some of these people think quite a lot of themselves. Other schools have been in lockstep with their collective. Other schools are grateful to have the collectives because it's a buffer between the coach and the crazy donors and people who are trying to put more money and have more say into the football program. And then there's some schools, like you pointed out here with Georgia, that are just like, we can just go this route and streamline this whole process. So I think everybody's dealt with something different. I think it depends on the success of your individual collective. Do you want to carry on this way? What's important to you with those relationships? So it's been the odd thing about NIL because nothing has been uniform, because there have been no rules or guidelines. It's been the Wild West that we've called it. So like, these collectives, I think, will slowly continue to peter off and die off. But this is just the beginning of all these schools kind of getting used to the new norm of college football.
Kind of agree. I mean, there's really not much I can go off of besides that. It's going to be eventually the new norm of the sport. Is going to lead to more, I think, consistency when it comes to how we go about paying players. And then we're going to start to see a lot of these deals go back under the table in terms of they won't be publicly reported. That's more so what I believe at this point. But there's a lot of different things that are going on. Georgia canceling its collective makes headlines because it's Georgia. Because
Sure.
It's a program that literally is known for the definition of consistency in the world of college football. So it's like, let me see a few more programs. Let's see how they go about bringing in the recruits. Let's go about hearing about these NIL packages. That's what I'm intrigued to see when it comes to the next stage of the sport.
Yeah, I will say this just as a general. I don't think – now, Tom mentioned something that I thought was pertinent. Some programs you saw really embrace it. Some programs were lockstep with their collectives. Others seem to understand that it was a necessary evil. I don't think – and I'll speak for whatever. I'll say what I want on my show. I'll speak for the 136 athletic departments that are in Division I power, FBS football. I don't think any athletic departments really liked the idea of collectives. I don't think athletic directors liked money not under their control. I don't think they liked to split fundraising efforts. I think most of it's about power, right? I think most of it's about power and control, and coaches, I'm sure, loved it, right? Like, yes, absolutely. Give us this swath of money to go out and recruit with. Well, then you kind of realize, like, everybody's got money, right? Now, differing levels, but that advantage kind of gets neutralized pretty quickly, unless you've got Texas money. But then even then, there's 6 Texas schools that have Texas money, and there's an Oregon, and there's, different programs and stuff. But I don't think athletic departments ever really liked it. I think they saw it as a necessary evil. And I think they want to determine how money is spent themselves. I still think coaches dictated to collectives like, hey, here's what we're willing to spend on this kid, right? Like, we're not, I don't know that collectives had free reign to, in most situations, offer whatever they wanted. I think they did work pretty well with coaches and staffs on how a staff valued a kid that was committing or transferring or whatever. But I don't think the athletic departments ever really liked them. And, were there some that maybe break that rule? Maybe. I'd say it's probably less than 10. I think the athletic departments and athletic directors, they wanted the control of the money. They wanted to kind of designate how things worked. And I think that's ultimately they like this move. And I think more will go to it. Could some collectives still exist as fundraising, as a marketing arm of the athletic department? I think so. Where I think collectives excelled, in speaking with some people that run some collectives, operate with some collectives, actually, I'll just tell you, like, I've got close enough ties with a couple of SEC schools and then some schools here in the state of Florida, obviously Florida State being one of them. Collectives were able to tap into a lot of some untapped markets, right? Some people that I've spoken with, a couple of different collective leaders who had told me that their numbers were primarily made up of people that had never given to the athletic department directly, whether that be through the boosters, whether that be through whatever each school's system for donating is. And I'm interested to see what the conversion rate to get those people back to the booster departments is, right? Like if your collective is made up of 50 people that never gave to Gator boosters or never gave through that, will those people who were donating to the Gators collective, will they then convert to pay the school directly? I would say some will, some won't. Some will look at that $20 million that they're paying anyway and say, oh, they don't need my money. They're good. Or the benefits that were being offered, whether that was access to players or access to a message board or access to private events or things like that. Well, if all those benefits go away, are you just given for the love of your heart, right? Some will, some won't. So I'm interested to see, as collectives go away, how maybe that will be made public, maybe it won't, maybe we'll never know. It'll just kind of be like hearsay here or there. But I am interested in what the conversion rate is back to the schools. If you were given to the Auburn collective and the Auburn collective goes away, are you immediately signing up to then give to Auburn athletics? Some people will, some people won't. What is that conversion rate? That's a hypothetical. I'm not necessarily asking you guys to speculate on it, but I do think that's an interesting angle of it is, will they get that same ROI by taking things in-house? My guess would be no, because not everyone will convert.
ROI is becoming the new king of college football because donors do not want to just donate money. They want to see a return on their investment.
Sure.
Also, I hope as the collectives go away, you also see the vultures within this sport go away, because there really weren't a whole lot of saints that dove into this collective being like, oh, let's do it for the student athletes and let's do it for the team. It was, hey, what can I get out of this? And it was a lot of people at a lot of different schools who their time associated with the school in whatever capacity was the only means they could really attempt to make some money or have some relevancy. And I know there are a lot of schools that did not like the way the collectives operated, because it was a situation where these big time programs all of a sudden look like they have their hands out and they're begging for money. And it's like, dude, we should not have this type of look from a PR standpoint. So I think they're going to slowly go away.